The minute you were born, you got involved in the war between good and evil, between darkness and light, between negative and positive, between evil and good, between tyranny and democracy, between weeds and human activity. I mean, the war is on. If democracy sleeps, guess who never sleeps? Tyranny. In the absence of light, guess what's automatic? Darkness. If good does not arouse itself and become active, guess what moves in? Evil. It's a war. A mental war, a physical war, a financial war, between enterprise and ease, between accomplishment and failure. It's a war. That's why there's an Old Testament phrase that gives the best advice for human activity when it says, 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Now, I'm sure we've taken that to mean, don't work all 7 days, take one off. Here's what it also means, only take one off, or you're liable to lose the war. Enterprise is better than ease. If you rest too long, the jungle overtakes the village. Now here's the good news about the war between good and evil. Evil is no match for good, but good must be active. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Once I understood this, this altered the course of my life. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And here's the big one. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. You don't need less problems. You simply need more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. Accept the challenge, because you can't grow without a challenge. You can't get rich without a challenge. You can't fly without gravity. You have to understand the challenge. But that's the key, is to now develop wisdom to overcome the challenge. Don't wish for less challenge, but more wisdom. And then here's one more philosophy that helped change my life forever. You can do the most remarkable things no matter what happens. Humans can do the most remarkable things no matter what happens. Philosophies that changed my life. Get stronger. You can develop the muscle. You can develop the courage muscle. You can develop the inspiration muscle. You can develop the dedication muscle. You can get stronger. There isn't anybody here that can't get stronger. Next time we see you, may not even recognize you, how strong you're going to be able to become in language, in style, in personality, the ability to cope, the ability to handle with anything that happens, no matter what happens. And the third one is get better. We can all get better. I've gotten better. First talk I gave, I stood up, my mind sat back down. But here's the secret to my success. I stood up and did it again. I stood up and I did it again. And I did it again, and I did it again all those many years ago. I did it when I was scared, and I did it when I didn't want to, and I did it when I was ill. And I did it when it didn't work well, and I did it when they didn't appreciate it, and I didn't a lot of times when I didn't know much what I was doing. I just did it anyway. I got better. I got better day by day and week by week and month by month, and I'm asking you to do the same thing until you can develop a long arm and a long reach, until you can develop influence that won't quit. Touch people next year you couldn't touch this year. Touch people now you couldn't touch before. Conduct a meeting now you couldn't conduct before. Heart and soul now mixed in there that wasn't there, missing before. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. Just get stronger. Get better. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
Forming and refining your personal philosophy of life is a process that never ends. It started way back when you were a child. The schools you attended, your parents, your experiences. All of these factors have played a role in developing your philosophy. Your personal philosophy is the major factor of your destiny. I used to think that circumstances ordered my life. If someone would have remarked to me when I was 25, Mr. Ron, you're not doing well. You've got pennies in your pocket, creditors calling, nothing in the bank. You are behind on your promises to your family. You live in America and have every reason to do well, yet things are going badly. What is wrong here? It would not have occurred to me to blame my philosophy. I found it much easier to blame the government, to blame the tax problem. I used to say taxes are too high. The top tax rate when I first started paying taxes was 91%. Back then, when your income reached a certain level, all the money you earned beyond that was taxed at 91%. Now the top rate is half that. And people are still saying that taxes are too high. But if they've decreased so substantially, how can they be too high? I threw all my old excuses away. It seems that some people have found them, though, and they've picked them up, dusted them off, and they're using the excuses themselves. I used to blame the traffic, the weather, all sorts of circumstances. I found it easier to blame the company than to blame myself. I used to say, if this is all they pay, how do they expect me to do? Well, I figured that my future was going to be tied to what was going on around me. The economy, interest rates, retail prices. I had a limitless supply of things to blame until Mr. Schoaf taught me where the problem really resided. In my own personal philosophy. What makes us different than dogs and birds and cats and spiders and alligators? What makes us different than all other life forms? It's the ability to think, the ability to use our mind, the ability to process ideas and not just operate by instinct. It's the ability to form our own personal philosophy. In the winter, geese can only fly south. Human beings are not like geese. We can fly south if we want, but we can also turn around. Go north, go east, go west. We can determine the entire process of our own life. We do that by the way we think. We do that by exercising our mind. We do that by processing ideas and coming up with a better philosophy, a better strategy for our life. We can set goals for the future and formulate plans to achieve those goals. All this comes from developing our philosophy. A philosophy helps us to process our options. Is it possible to take the raw material we've all been given and turn it into something spectacular and unique that no other person can do? The answer is yes. But you cannot even see all these options, let alone know what to do with them, unless you start using your mind to come up with ideas to strengthen your philosophy. That is a major challenge of life. Each person's personal philosophy is like the set of a sail. If you want to trim a better sail, you don't need a better economy. If you blame the economy and the marketplace, the schools and the teachers, the sermons and the preachers, the company and its policy, what else is there? When some people get through with their blame list, there's nothing left to blame but themselves. It is a colossal mistake to blame the only things you've got to work with. You know, you can't change the seasons. You've got to take them as they come. What can you change to make your life work better? You must start with your philosophy. Once I got rid of all my old excuses and started examining the real problem, my personal philosophy, my life exploded into change. My bank account changed immediately. My income changed immediately. My whole life instantly took on a new look. The early results from making these philosophical changes felt so good that I never stopped the process from that day forward. Once you set a better sail by refining your philosophy, your whole life's direction can start to change from that day forward. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You don't have to wait until next month. You don't have to wait until conditions are perfect. You can start this whole process immediately. I recommend it. Let's suppose that you have been hard at work on developing a strong philosophy. You know exactly what you want to accomplish in life. You know that you want to get a good education, have a successful career, make some profitable investments, raise a family, and have your children turn out well. You may even know how you want to go about achieving these objectives. You may have it all planned out in great detail. All that is very important. All that is very good. But is it enough? I'm afraid not. Let's also suppose that there's a vast, hugely powerful force that nobody can withstand, and this immense force is always active and in furious motion. It never rests. It's like a slowly flowing river that can eventually carve the Grand Canyon out of solid rock. But that comparison doesn't really do it justice. The force I'm talking about is much more formidable than any river, ocean, glacier, or other natural phenomenon. In trying to achieve your life's goals, Would you prefer to fight against this great force that has the odds overwhelmingly in its favor, or would you rather enlist this great power for your cause and make the inevitable work for you instead of against you? Take your time before answering. Think it over. By the way, the great power I'm talking about is time. Time is the mightiest force in the world, even the universe. Of course, the answer to the question I posed is very obvious. Why would you ever choose to fight time when you could have time on your side? Who wouldn't want to harness the great river of time that flows through all of life? Why wouldn't you want to use the power of time to generate power in every area of your existence, to turn the turbines of your hopes and dreams, to charge your every aspiration with lightning bolts of electricity? There is only one way to make time work for you, not against you: patience. There's a type of person who undertakes every activity out of the desire to achieve a goal. He prepares food to eat it, not just for the fun of being in the kitchen. He starts a business to make money. He exercises to get in shape. I'm sure that some of these people are very successful, and they are certainly highly organized. But a person with a truly refined philosophy sees success as an adventure, not as a point with an estimated time of arrival. The latter approach is patient thinking. Impatient thinking can lead a person to some very big mistakes. When you are always looking somewhere else, whether it's down the road, up toward the top of the mountain, or off toward the left field fence, where you're hoping to hit that grand slam home run, you often miss what's under your very own nose. You never know when you're gonna come across a book or article that will provide a piece of information that can transform your life. One thing is certain, however: the book you don't read isn't going to help. And it's the same with meeting people. You never know who is going to be able to teach you exactly what you need to know. Even if you don't need to know it now, you might need to know it at some point in the future. That might not be for 15 years, but it just might be in 15 minutes too. A patient man is always richer than an impatient one, even if the patient man has less money. What do I mean by that statement? Well, riches and wealth can take other forms besides dollars and cents. In what sense is the patient man richer? The answer is actually very simple. A patient man is always richer than the impatient one because the patient man can always afford to wait. The patient man is never desperate. The patient man has time to spare, while the man in a hurry is always on the verge of bankruptcy as far as time is concerned. In any situation you can think of, impatience is a source of weakness and fear, while patience represents substance and strength. And here's another reason why patience gives the person who has it an incalculable advantage over those who don't have it. It gives him deeper insight into himself and others, which is a mark of philosophical refinement. If you can only see the short term, if you think only in terms of the here and now, then you are stuck in one place. You can't judge distances. You live in a world that's flat and two-dimensional. In other words, the impatient person lacks all sense of perspective. Perspective lets you measure your current plans against things that have already occurred and against your desires and aspirations for the future. Then and now, here and there, near and far, need and know, watch and wait. These are the dual optics that allow the patient man to see in stereo. The nearsighted person sees only the present. The fantasizer sees only an imaginary future and, more likely than not, trips over his mistakes trying to get there. Patience enables you to see the big picture. It helps you to make the most of today while building a better tomorrow. For that reason, it's one of the most valuable equities of all, one that you should make every effort to acquire. The payoff will be worth it.